So naturally, she grows up in a 2-parent household.
Yeah.
I grow up in a 1-parent household. So we naturally have 2 different styles of or ways of growing up.
We're adaptable.
But he's more the authoritarian.
I try to
He
be
tries.
a little bit more, like, hey, this is how it is, and these are the consequences.
And I find wiggle room.
And then she tries to find ways to, I'm going to be your best friend. But it works out, and it works out sometimes, and sometimes it blows up on us. But
trial and error, kind of.
Yeah, it's not going to be perfect. And with Sophie, you have to adjust per kid. It's not going to be. I don't think it'll be the same for somebody else's kid.
Mm-hmm.
So,
in terms of our discipline style and raising children, we were blessed to be on the same page about that. And in many respects, we are very much reflections of the families we grew up in. I think both of our families, while loving, were consistent with what their expectations were, and we tried to be clear with our children. And we tried to create circumstances where they would have enough room while they were younger to make safe errors in judgment, but then let them experience the consequences of those lapses in judgment, and then also mete out fair and respectful discipline from their parents for those. Not trying to overreact, but also certainly not trying to avoid and pretend nothing ever happened. And we were very blessed to be very much on the same page in that respect.
Right.
While there may be very different personality styles that are going to present in different ways through parenting, there is one type or general parenting style that works most of the time, if not all of the time. And that's authoritative parenting. What that means is that in the way I parent, in the way I guide and teach my children, I am doing that with the end goal of having them pursue a healthy independence. And I am supervising and I am paying attention to them and mapping out their lives in many different ways. But again, in that beautiful dance within being hands-on and hands-off, hands-on and hands-off.
I got spankings all the time. But I knew that wasn't working for me as a kid. I wondered why all the time. Like, can I have this? No. Well, why? And when I was raised, you didn't have to say why. It was just no. But I never understood why. So I did know that when I raised my kids, I would want them to understand the why. Because if you understood the why, hey, don't touch the stove. Why? Because I said so. Okay. Well, don't touch the stove. Why? Well, son, the stove is hot, and if you touch the stove, you're going to burn yourself, and it's going to hurt real bad. You may have to go to the hospital. Oh, I'm not going to touch the stove. Well, that first person, because you said no, now I'm curious, I'm going to touch it.
I'm laughing at the questions because our little ones have questions all the time. And so Daddy is always giving an explanation. So lately, our son, I don't even know what prompted. He said, does, Cassidy have on her seatbelt? Oh, because Daddy said there was an 87-year-old woman that didn't have her seatbelt on and she died. What? And so every time he gets in the car, he tells me why you're supposed to have on a seatbelt.
1, it's working. 2, I don't know where the 87-year-old woman came from, but if that's what he needed,